Tuesday at 10 talk. How are y'all doing this morning? Today I am in Chicago with Lynn. The video will come up in just a second.
Oh, okay.
And as people are coming in live, if y'all can just type in hashtag live, and if you're catching this on the replay, if you can type in hashtag replay and let us know where you're from. And let us also know where you're from, and just any as we go on through this, if there's any questions that you have, type those in. And we're going to be trying to not only get to some what we have prepared this morning, but also get to any of your questions that you have, if time allows. And there is a squeaky animal toy here, so that's okay.
Sorry about my dog, guys.
Yeah,
he's living his life, his best life.
All right, and as we go on with this talk, if any of this is resonating with you, I always say, if it resonates with you, then there's a chance that it's going to resonate with your friends as well. And so I'm going to make this shareable and just share it with people so that we can get this word out. There's some really powerful things we're going to talk about today. So one thing I wanted to start with, just in general, is just as an internal medicine physician, the one thing that they teach us more than anything is the physical body. And what I have come to learn as time has gone on is that there's 3 different bodies.
There's 3 different bodies.
Yeah. And so you can take all the medicine you want to, and you can kind of go to all the doctors that you want to. And if you don't really kind of address the underlying emotional, spiritual, or soul problem, then lots of times you're never going to really get yourself rid of that problem that you suffer with. And I was wanted to share with y'all some statistics. The last time we did a talk like this, there were some questions on high blood pressure, the spiritual meaning and origin of high blood pressure, and then also some people were coming in with some hypothyroidism and hyperthyroidism. And so that's what Lynn is going to talk about today. But when you come to see a doctor, the only thing that we're going to do is, I mean, if you have weight to lose, and if you have a really high sodium diet, those are going to be the 2 lifestyle changes that we recommend you do. But then other than that, we are going to start you on medications. And unfortunately, once you start one medication, then you either just kind of have to keep going up on the dose of that medication or add other medications as time goes on. But 47% of Americans suffer from high blood pressure. And you know, high blood pressure is the thing that leads to heart attacks and strokes and erectile dysfunction and everything else that's a problem of the of the blood vessels in our body. So anyway, with that, do you want to go ahead and talk about just in general the 3 different types of bodies that are in our body, and whatever it is that you want to say about high blood pressure?
Good morning, everybody. Hello. Yeah, as Dr. Cindy said, we do have. Hi, Mom.
Hi, Mom.
We do have three bodies systems: a physical body that we can see, touch, and feel. You also have an energetic body that interacts with everyone and everything around us, and you have a higher self, which is your soul body. There's auric layers. There's a whole multitude of things that are going on besides just our physical health. Our physical health, when we tend to get ailments or hurt ourselves, it's always a sign from God or the universe, and also our own emotional selves, that there's something that we need to take care of that we're not paying attention to. So it's kind of like the wake-up call of like, well, I guess you didn't pay attention, so let me have your finger break. Now you have to slow down, pay attention to some more things that you were maybe trying to avoid and go past. So all of these bodies interact with each other on a daily basis. And if one is sick, then it affects the rest. So if you have in one area, in the physical aspect, you have a sickness, it is also effectual of your emotional and your bodies as well. So for instance, high blood pressure, it's a condition that's
medically it's caused by an increasing of all the different components that are in the blood vessels and actually in the arteries themselves. It can be due to cholesterol plaque. It can be due to advanced age. It can be due to your genetics. And like I said, it has a tendency to run in families, and with the effects of all that high pressure in your blood vessels and in your arteries, over time it can rob your tissues of the oxygen that's in the blood supply, and that's what can lead to a heart attack and a stroke. The exact same process that leads to people having a heart attack is the exact same process that leads to people having a stroke. It's just in blood vessels in two different parts of our body. And so once you have one, unfortunately, it's a 70% chance you're going to have another, and you're kind of like guaranteeing that you're going to be in medical offices for the rest of your life. And so I feel really strongly that if we can learn the spiritual meaning of high blood pressure, and we can get to the root of that, then we can really affect a change of a lot healthier adults in America.
So basically, what Dr. Cindy said, it's part of your cardiovascular system, and your cardiovascular system is constantly under stress from all aspects that are going on within your body, your blood pressure, from your external events, from the things that you think, from the emotional traumas that you've held inside. So if you fail to work through your emotional trauma, you will have aspects that are a result of living out of balance. Your body, your spirit, and your mind all together working know when there is something that's not right for you. And even though you may get through things that are not right for you and you leave them, or you bypass certain relationships or jobs or things that have left you stressed and feeling this sense of tiredness and dragged down, and the blood pressure raises and everything else, it will still store in your system. So if I ask you some questions here, if you guys could answer, whoever's out there, as far as your high blood pressure goes, anger can cause high blood pressure. Anger also affects your liver. But do you feel that you've been treated terribly by another person and can't get over it? Do you feel you're not worthy of achieving what you're worthy of achieving? These are some things that go into your cardiovascular system and create this high blood pressure. The thoughts of not achieving certain things in life, and also the idea that you've been treated and you haven't fixed the aspect of it. Hold on. You need a ball.
Guys, as y'all are popping in, she's going to deal with her dog for a second. But as you're popping in, if you could just write in some any kind of medical problems or ailments that either you or a friend or someone in your family deal with. We already know what we're going to be talking about when we do another one of these in July, and then that'll give us some different elements for her to look up and make sure that she gives you a good explanation on when we do this again in August.
That just gave me some high blood pressure.
We knew that was going to happen.
Made me angry. But another aspect of high blood pressure is being fearful, being frightened. Even our dream state, when you're dreaming, it can create things during your day that leave you being frightened about what that dream meant, and wondering why you're living in a life that you're dreaming about certain things that are leaving you in this scared state. And then also, too, if you're frightened of something in your life that you don't know how to address, that's a big one for a lot of people. A lot of us don't know how to address certain issues and people and things in our life, and that can lead to emotional trauma, because our hearts are definitely involved, and your heart is involved with the high blood pressure. It's an actual breaking of the heart when you are not living in your purpose and not allowing yourself to speak and feel from a place that's normal or natural to you. It's, in a sense, pleasing to other people, but it's taking from you. So that will create that blood pressure to rise. Spiritually, universe and God wants us to live our path and go about our journey in a peaceful manner where we feel like we are connected with as above, so below. So it takes being truthful with yourself, which is another hard thing that a lot of us don't do, about where the problem might be coming from. And with a little bit of bravery on your part, you can start addressing your emotional problems. My dog is killing me.
This dog is really going crazy.
I have a pit bull.
No.
But it's the aspect of living in authenticity with yourself and not allowing everything externally to continuously create these waves of negative tension that go through your body, because you are working with your nervous system and your cardiovascular, which spiritually is kind of like the tree of life, your nervous system, and your cardiovascular is the air, the fire, the water, the earth elements that are within us that we reflect around us. So your thoughts really do create these issues, and the more you sit in a frightened state, the more you sit in an angered state, the more you ask yourself why you're being treated the way you're being treated, and not allow yourself to remove yourself from that situation and treat yourself the way that you want someone to treat you. Love yourself the way you want to be loved. The more you step away from that, the more you're always going to be searching for those things and holding that trauma inside. So some things you can do to help with your high blood pressure, not only take pills, and I'm not absolutely against the whole idea of, Western medicine. It does help for a while, but to stay on them for the rest of your life is really not addressing the cause. It's that truth that you need with yourself, that it's time to change, and to each their own in all due time. But you can practice meditation and yoga. You can get Reiki, acupuncture. All of these things will help with your cardiovascular. It'll help with your spiritual, emotional, and physical body.
Can I say something?
Absolutely.
So I wrote down something here, and this is for you, Michelle. I always write down things for Michelle. She's a visual learner, and she and I always talk about things from a visual standpoint. So the origin of disease, especially if we're talking about hardening of the arteries, and I hope you can read my handwriting, when you have a trapped thought or an emotion or a negative belief, then what that does is it leads to an abnormal increase of stress and cortisol, which leads to inflammation, which leads to pain, which will lead to this hardening of the arteries. Same exact process will also lead to strictures and tumors. And what this whole thing is called is a maladaptive stress reaction. And so what Lynn is saying is if we can get back here to the very root of the origin of the problem, the trapped thought, the emotion, the negative belief, all doctors are able to do is to treat it once it gets down here, right? And to give you medicine to get rid of the effects of that hardening of the arteries. And what she was saying is if you can have habits, and we're not saying that you have to do these habits every single day or even every single week, or different ones can be weekly, different ones can be monthly. But if you can just come up with a way that you can increase, kind of schedule into your day and into your week and into your month, rest and meditation, and she's going to talk a little bit about Reiki in general, I hope. Dietary changes to get rid of the inflammation, which is going to be something I'll be talking about next week. And then just really think about your thought life. Then you can affect a whole cascade of events in your body to help your body out. But go ahead, I didn't want to interrupt anymore.
Oh, no, you're absolutely fine.
Yep.
Does anybody have any questions about how you physically, emotionally, and spiritually connect yourself to the issue with high blood pressure?
I don't know if anybody on here right now has high blood pressure.
Okay.
Because we have Jenny and Michelle and my mom and Melissa. So
then I guess we'd have no questions on it.
Yeah.
But everything, they say everything spiritually is not all woo-woo. It's not all about this, that, and the other. We are spiritual creatures as much as we are emotional creatures and human in the physical sense. So when you think of it that way, a lot of these Eastern treatments are considered a little bit out there by our medicine from now with the Western.
Yeah.
But really what it is when you're attempting to treat something that is continuous and that is affecting your life, it really starts with you and your connection with who you are. And in that's where you'll have that spiritual connection, because you recognize that you're not just flesh and bone walking about this earth. There are too many miracles and too many beautiful things going on that we notice on a daily basis. And if you're not opening your eyes to notice the little things, that might be a place where you can start. It's the little things. It's the little butterfly that passes by. It's the sign that you see. It's the mother holding their child. These kind of things are and can be implemented into making you feel better about being alive, and take your mind off of those stressful things and help you release if you're having any anger or depression or anything going on. In that, you are calming your nervous system by not focusing on the things that are already inside you. And the more you practice doing that, the more these things will go into a better state of homeostasis within your body.
One thing we were talking about last time that we talked is I think a lot of us, we touch our bodies, we see them, and so we think we are just a physical body, but we are actually more space than we are body. And the magic in our body is in that space in between, which is the energy. And if you don't even know to think about that we are more energy and space than we are physical matter, then you're not going to be able to affect any change on that huge part of your body that is really calling the shots. And that's one thing I really wanted Lynn to talk about this morning, if she could, is just about the energy in our body and the thought of chakras and the meridia and just how you can align those and just all that, if you would.
I'm sorry, I'm noticing Kathleen.
Yeah, that's Kathy Smallwood. She was telling us
So,
about that last time, the pseudotumor cerebri and the
so
religious beliefs.
Kathy, I just want to ask you really quick, since I saw your comment here. Have you ever heard of craniosacral therapy, CST? And if you have not, I would highly recommend that you go and look and see if there's a very good CST practitioner anywhere around. Um, I actually just started learning CST myself. It's the release of that cerebral spinal fluid from the back of your neck down through your sacrum area. That's our life force energy riding back and forth up and down our spine. Every piece of your spine stands for a trauma. Every axis and every atlas point going into your spinal cord and into your brain and everything are all connected to traumas. But that fluid, being life force energy, it needs to flow properly throughout. And craniosacral will release and help that fluid move throughout your body so that you have the proper flow going on. So you don't have to continue to get spinal taps and all these other things, which hopefully have helped.
Yeah.
Because that doesn't sound like something that I would want to continuously go through. But CST practitioner, see if you can find one, and if not, I can attempt to help you find one. I have one in Florida. I don't know where you live. But as far as the energetic body and chakras, we have 7 main chakras in our body. The top of your head is your crown chakra, which is your connection to source or God, universe. You also have your third eye chakra. Your third eye chakra is a way of seeing the world through kind of like a dream, recognizing that we're not just human beings having an experience as a human. It's your imagination. It's your ability to see the little floaty things, we'll say, in the world, knowing that there's another existence and universe with us. You have your throat chakra, which obviously is utilized for your ability to speak, or when you hold that ability to speak your truth, that's where dis-ease ends up. I know a lot of us probably as kids were told you're better seen than heard, which then unfortunately taught a lot of us to stay very quiet and not speak our truth in our relationships and our jobs and everything else. Well, that chakra will end up slowing down and not allowing us to take in, be able to speak our truth or over speak and not say what we really mean. You have your heart chakra, which everyone knows, it's green. That is, obviously, it holds any type of love for people, places, things, even yourself. You know, we've changed as we've gotten older, and there's pieces of ourselves that we still love and we miss, and it's a part of us, but it's not a good part for us. So, in growth, sometimes we have to, carry that love of that in our heart. You then have your solar plexus, which is right under your breastbone. That's where we house our ego and how we feel in this world. Do you feel confident? You see the guys come out of the gym. Some of the girls too. Who knows? But they're all pumped up. Their ego is up under here. And then you've also seen people walk by, hunched over, and they don't have a lot of confidence in themselves or the world that they're in. Right below that, in the sexual organs area, would be your sacral. That's where we hold any type of creativity or sexual traumas or anything that involves with birth and mother. And below that, all the way down to the floor, would be your root chakra, which is your finances, your family, how you feel in your own world that you created. A tree comes down and the roots go into the dirt. How deep are they? Can that tree be blown over by a big wind? Can you be blown over in your life by a small destruction that happens? All of these areas have little wheels that spin, and say the proper speed of it is 10 miles per hour, and all of these are lined up, and they're all doing 10. You're going to be happy. Nothing's going to affect you. You're going to be healthy. It's beautiful. You're going to see beyond what's in front of you, and it's just going to be a great life. I don't think any of us sitting here have that, and that's quite all right. I cannot wait to achieve that, but that's all through lessons in life. So when you say, we'll just go back to the throat and use that, when that wheel starts to slow down, sometimes it stops because your entire life you're not speaking your truth. That creates that dis-ease in that area, which turns into diseases. Now the throat will have, you can get tumors and cancer, you can get thyroid problems, you can have that scratchy throat. As a child, you might get strep throat and coughs all the time. It's like you can never clear that area. It's because that energy is starting to build up there. And if you're the type of person that speaks your truth constantly, well, you probably don't even know what your truth is because you're constantly speaking it, or over speaking in situations, that will create the same type of diseases and problems. Except for when we utilize Reiki, we then slow it down so the energy isn't going so rapid, so that you're able to evenly speak when you need to speak and also hold back when you know that it's really not proper at that moment. And that's just the throat chakra, but each one of these areas is attached and near an area where there are organs that are then attached to traumas, which is also attached to emotional things, which then become physical. That's why we have these bodies of energetic, physical, and emotional. Really quick, I just want to let you know, Reiki basically has been used for many, many years. It came out of Japan, the original Usui Reiki, and they brought it over to the United States a few years ago, and they've twisted it around a little bit. Some of it is not. It's more modernized for our Western world, but the main factor in it is that you're using intention and you're working with energy. So the practitioner is basically your conduit. You provide the energy that's, whether in balance or not, the practitioner utilizes their hands and their energy to help pull that negative energy through them and bring it back to God, to light. And in that, it relieves and allows that space to be opened up around that area and your chakra to move in a proper speed so that you can now take in new things and accept good things into your life. And there will be some bad too, but you may not hold it as much because now you're in a newer energy to be able to accept and understand. And that's basically the practice of Reiki in short form. Until you actually experience it, you probably couldn't tell anybody. So.
Well, I will. You want to deal with him? So I'll tell you guys my experience with Reiki. So I actually, Lynn, I've gotten 2 sessions in my life, and you just lay there and you really don't feel anything that's happening. I didn't, but you will. What is happening is that she, with the power of the universe, is helping anything that's supposed to get moved in your body. It is my energy that is organizing in the right way, and afterwards, what happens is really your whole entire energy is kind of receptive to a different. It's kind of like at a different frequency in the world, and what I experienced was very, very high level conversations with really important people in my life, much more truth, much more ability to speak my truth, and synchronicities that were happening around me that were giving me blessings.
And just so you all know too, when you get Reiki, it's individual. So her experience may not be what the next person's experience is. And you do actually, you can feel heat, tingling, or things moving in the body. You may see colors, you may see loved ones that have passed come to you. It's a very emotionally and physically and spiritually calming practice, and it helps, and they're using it with a lot of cancer patients, with the Mayo clinics and a lot of other areas. The government is using it. They're calling it healing touch. It's a little different than Reiki, but pretty much the same aspect. They're using it for their veterans that came home with PTSDs and anxiety. So you can use it for a type of physical ailment, PTSDs, anxieties, sleep problems. A lot of us have those. Restless leg syndromes, any type of traumas, loss of children, loss of parents, any type of grief, anything that's really affected us since we were in the womb or probably before being in the womb, can be worked on and can be helped to be moved to the surface of the body. Now, it's not a one-time, we're good. No. because then there's lessons that are involved in life, and it depends on how you take these things. Are you going to allow your body to store these type of things, or are you going to start to see how you can help heal yourself by reacting different, by allowing yourself to focus on something more positive than the negative during the day, which then in turn makes you healthier, and it doesn't make your wheels go off the rail or slow down as much as they used to, which in essence I think is beautiful, because literally your energy will start matching your thoughts. And if your thoughts are positive, your energy is good, then you're truly living life. Because we shouldn't be this stressed. We shouldn't have all these worries, and we shouldn't be carrying everybody's stuff on our back. Because we came in here alone. And I truly believe we're going to leave alone. But, the main factor is ailments that we have become us. I have MS. I have heart disease. I am diabetic. You are claiming these diseases instead of allowing yourself to literally allow yourself to see the things that will heal you and help yourself. That's one of the main things with trauma healing is the victim mode. A lot of things in life are our perpetrators, whether it be our bosses, our partners, our friends, just money, whatever it is. Those are our perpetrators. But we're not victims. We're not victims. And allowing us to be in that state for a long period of time, then we'll create all of these physical, mental, and emotional and spiritual problems. So, yeah.
Yeah. And I know you normally work with 7 of the chakras, but there's so many in our body.
I actually work with 12 of them.
Yeah, you work
I'm
with
trained
12.
in 12 because I'm trained in 3 different modalities. I'm trained in Usui, Karuna, and Sophia Reiki. There are a lot of different modalities for Reiki. Each of them have their own energy. Some are more masculine, some are more feminine, meaning that, I had said before, I don't know if I said it on here, but everyone is, their left side of their body is considered the feminine side, and the right side is considered the masculine side. That's just how we carry the energies of the world. We are to be in balance, and that's a little secret. Once you learn how to balance the need to control and to make money and the ability to accept and be fine, those things going in balance then start to help you look at other things, and you balance your light and your dark and your feminine and your masculine, and your need and your not need for things. In balance is where we all actually end up becoming healthier, no matter what the problem is. I mean, there's always God's plan, meaning that at certain points people will have suffered so long with certain ailments that nothing is going to solve the problem, and it won't be healed. It can be quelled.
Kathy is saying since she started healing, she has not had daily headaches or a single spinal tap. So I'm assuming the spinal taps, the hundreds of spinal taps, were a kind of a hallmark of a certain few decades of your life, Kathy. And now that you started healing at the root level, you haven't had to have any. That is amazing. I just can't. I've only had 2 spinal taps, and that's when I delivered my 2 kids. So I can't even imagine having hundreds of these. That was an awful thing to go through. And I'm so glad that you're healing now. That's wonderful. And then Melissa's saying that we are our biggest perpetrators.
Yeah, and Kathy, that's beautiful. And you're right there. There's an example of how amazing it can be when you to take care of your emotional, physical, and spiritual traumas. You start looking these things in the face, and you put that little bit of battle in there for yourself, and find alternative ways besides the same things over and over that are not fitting who you are. Some people, they can take some medicine and be absolutely fine. Great. But other people are trying different things and they cannot. It's a repetitive pattern. I mean, what does Einstein say? What, you keep doing the same thing over and over again with the same results? It's insanity, So thyroid, I was going to talk about.
Yeah, that last minute we have, and we'll talk about thyroid problems.
So
Oh, sorry. No, but.
Thyroids stem from anxiety and depression, and also from the lack, like we were talking earlier about your throat chakra, which is teal, blue color. It's the throat chakra is an area of self-expression and personal power. So if you have an underactive, which is hypothyroidism, which also can turn into Hashimoto's, or you may have an overactive, a hyperthyroid, that can turn into Graves' disease. When you're hypo, a stuck feeling is constantly within your area, within your body. It's a fear of something taking over your life and a fear of taking charge of your own life, stepping forward into what you want. And it can worsen by having a lack of forgiveness for the people that have held you back. And that could even be yourself. If you're holding yourself back, that forgiveness for yourself or anything that's held you back from you being able to take power and charge over your own life can create this hypothyroidism. And hyper is when you're not prioritizing your life. It's a strong need for you to be validated from others. You have high expectations of yourself and others. And do you find yourself making choices based upon what you think you should do rather than what your intuition is telling you? These are some questions you need to ask yourself and really try to look for the answers in that and why you're doing it. It can be very effectual in bringing your thyroid into a better balance. And a little honoring of your intuitive process just might create a little bit more physical healing for you. Using your gut, your intuition helps with a lot of things in your life, and it will definitely help with your thyroid issues and speaking your truth as well. Knowing that you don't need to be validated when you speak. It's you. It's about being authentic. And if the world around you doesn't understand, maybe the world around you needs to change so you can feel more comfortable, so that you can heal. So physically, mentally, and spiritually, you will be good.
Okay, awesome. Well, I know the dog is agreeing with us that our time is up. Thank you so much, Lynn, for coming and talking to us about thyroid problems and also high blood pressure. Like I said, we'll be back again in July, and I know we're going to be talking about multiple sclerosis because that's what Michelle is asking about. And anything else when you go in here and just write out anything else that somebody in your life might deal with, so we know what else we can talk about next month. And hopefully we'll talk about 2 things each month just to shed some light. But it was so good to have everybody here today. Anything else you want to say?
No, thank you guys.
Okay.
I appreciate you guys listening, and whatever you need to share with others, share your knowledge with others. Let them know. Have conversations with people that are sick. Don't just worry about the next doctor visit. Talk to people. Ask and find out what you can do to help them relieve and help themselves with the emotional portions of it, because we're all here to help each other. That's why I think we're placed here on this earth.
Yep. And I'll be coming next Tuesday at 10, and we'll be doing a part 2 of the physical body, specifically talking about immune system and just anything you can do to help your immune system to help with your physical body. But it was good seeing everybody today, and we'll see you next Tuesday at 10.
Bye, guys.
Bye.